All right, so this is going to be part 2 of the 1-8 homework. And so you should have been working on question number 8 in your notes as I was getting to part 2 here. So let's go ahead and dive in. So again, I have two inequalities here. I've got one here on the left using those two parts, and then I've got one here on the right. Okay, so this one's going to take a little bit more work. So I've got -4 less than or equal to x minus 2y. So again, I'm going to flip the whole entire thing, including the inequality. So I have x minus 2y, and then now instead of less than or equal to, we're going to say greater than or equal to, and then -4. So then what I can do next is I can start solving for y by moving the x over. And so we can say that -2y is greater than or equal to -x minus 4. And subtracting something from an inequality doesn't change the inequality at all. But dividing by -2 does change the inequality. So anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, that's going to flip the inequality. So let's go ahead and put a little slash through that now. So that means y is now going to be less than or equal to, and then we get +1/2 x, and we get +2. So that means I have a y-intercept at +2, and then my slope is going to be 1/2. So that means I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 2. Or I could call it -1/2, and I can go down 1 and to the left 2. As I continue, this says less than or equal to, so the points on the graph are part of the solution. So we've got this line right here to begin. All right, and so then the next one we're going to have is x minus 2y is less than 6. So again, we want to solve for y, so we're going to subtract x from both sides, and that does not change the inequality. So I have -2y is less than -x plus 6, but dividing or multiplying by a negative does flip the inequality. So this is going to flip around. So we're going to say y is now greater than, and that ends up being +1/2 x, and then we have -3. So notice this slope is also 1/2. So these are going to be parallel lines. So I've got a y-intercept at -3, and then my slope says up 1 and to the right 2, or we can take the opposite of the top and the opposite of the bottom and go down 1 and to the left 2. Now this one says strictly greater than, so that means the line itself is not part of the solution set. So we're going to make that one dashed. Okay, so now let's talk shading. So for my solid line, it said less than, so that's going to be shaded below the graph. And then the second one has a greater than, so that's going to be shaded above that graph. And so where this is shaded everything below and this is shaded everything above, where they would intersect is the space in between those two parallel lines. So the big difference between this one and this one is even though these look like they're going to be parallel, they actually will intersect at some point, whereas these are parallel and will never touch. All right, so taking a look at the next example, it says in the equation y equals absolute value of x plus 1 minus 3. We're going to ask what value of x makes the absolute value of 0. So do you see that this, we're just talking about the absolute value, that if I can make that part equal to 0, then the absolute value is equal to 0. So if I set x plus 1 equal to 0, I get x is equal to -1. And so the question is what values of x, to move forward. So then if that is my 0 value, then that means that's what I like to call my centerpiece. Now, we're going to learn families of graphs a little bit better. You may have learned it in Algebra 2. So we're going to do this better in Chapter 3 when we get there. But for right now, it's okay to do an XY chart. So on this number line, -1 is going to give me my 0. So I'm going to pick a couple of x values to the left of -1, like -2 and -3, and then a couple of x values to the right of -1, like 0 and +1. And then I'm just going to substitute those into this equation. So for negative 3, I'm going to get y is equal to the absolute value of negative 3 plus 1 and then minus 3. So that's going to be the absolute value of negative 2 minus 3, which gives me 2 minus 3, and that's going to be negative 1. So I have a point at negative 3, negative 1. So then coming over here, if I pick 2, I get y is equal to the absolute value of negative 2 plus 1, oops, that's the absolute value, minus 3. So that's going to be the absolute value of negative 1 minus 3. So if I do 1 minus 3, we can get negative 2. And so that means at negative 2, I have a point at negative 2. Negative 1, I've got y is equal to the absolute value of negative 1 plus 1 and then minus 3. So that gives me y equal to the absolute value of 0 minus 3. And just to remind you, absolute value just means distance from 0, so you're always taking the positive version. So 0, the absolute value is going to be 0, and so we get negative 3. So that means when x is negative 1, sorry, that is incorrect. We got y is equal to negative 3. So right now it looks like it's going to be a line, but something's going to happen once I flip to the other side of my centerpiece. And this is why we made negative 1 the middle value. So if we talk about 0, we're going to say y is equal to the absolute value of 0 plus 1 minus 3. So 0 plus 1 is 1. The absolute value of a positive number is still positive, and then 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So that means I have a point at 0, negative 2. And notice we're getting this nice pretty V shape now instead of a straight line. So when I substitute in 1, we're going to get the absolute value of 1 plus 1 minus 3. So we get y is the absolute value of 2 minus 3, which gives me that y is equal to 2 minus 3 because the absolute value of 2 is 2. And so y is equal to negative 1. And hopefully you see a pattern here that it goes from negative 1 to negative 2 to negative 3 and then back to negative 2 and back to negative 1. So what that means is absolute value graphs have symmetry. So if I folded this graph along the value that makes the absolute value equal to 0, it's going to lay right on top of each other. And so this is an equation, so we can go ahead and graph it solid. And so this is our absolute value function. All right, so go ahead and pause the video for a moment and see if you can answer number 4. So remember, the first question we ask ourselves is what value of x makes the absolute value 0? So I'm going to take that x plus 3 and set it equal to 0. And if I subtract 3 from both sides, we get x is equal to negative 3. So that is the 0 point where you go from being negative to positive inside of that absolute value. So we're going to make 0 the centerpiece. So then from 0 to the left, I can go to negative 1. Sorry, we're going to make negative 3 the centerpiece. So negative 3 is right here. So 2 steps to the left, I've got negative 4 and negative 5. And then from negative 3, 2 steps to the right would be negative 2 and negative 1. All right, so then if I substitute, I've got y is, and I'm not worried about the less than right now, I've got y is equal to the absolute value of negative 5 plus 3. And so that's going to be the absolute value of negative 2, which is 2. So that means y is equal to 2 here. And then I've got y is equal to the absolute value of negative 4 plus 3. So that gives me y is equal to the absolute value of negative 1, which gives me positive 1. When I substitute negative 3, I better get 0. So we get the absolute value of 0, which is 0. And then it should flip and start doing the reverse. So if I substitute negative 2, I've got y is equal to the absolute value of negative 2 plus 3, which means it's going to be the absolute value of 1, and the absolute value of a positive is positive. And then the next one should be 2, but let's just verify. So I get y is equal to the absolute value of negative 1 plus 3, which gives me the absolute value of 2, which gives me 2, just like I predicted. So coming up here, that means at negative 5, we have a point at positive 2. Negative 4 is at positive 1. Negative 3 is at 0. Negative 2 is at 1. And negative 1 is at 2. Now, before we make this V solid, we've got to recognize the actual absolute value is not part of the solution. So when we go to graph this, we're going to graph this with a dashed line because this is our boundary, but the points on the graph itself are not part of the solution. Okay? So then it's sort of like in slope-intercept form because the y is by itself. So this is saying all the y values below this graph because it says less than. So that means it's going to be all the y values below that vertex. Okay? And if you don't believe me, we can test 0, 0 and see if it works. And it should because it's in the shaded region. So is 0 less than the absolute value of 0 plus 3? So is 0 less than the absolute value of 3? So I would agree that 0 is less than 3, so it should be in the shaded region. So now that you've seen that one, again, pause the video and see if you can try number 5. All right, so we need to figure out what is the value of x that makes this 0. And so if I have x minus 2 equal to 0, we would get x is equal to positive 2. And that's going to be my centerpiece. So positive 2 is my centerpiece. So looking at positive 2, if I go to the left, I get positive 1 and 0. And if I look to the right, I get positive 3 and positive 4. So those are the 5 values that make 2 the centerpiece. So then we're going to substitute. So if I substitute 0, again, I'm not worried about the inequality right now. I get y is equal to 0 minus 2 inside the absolute value. And so that's going to be the absolute value of negative 2, which gives me 2. If I substitute in 1, I get the absolute value of 1 minus 2. So that's going to be the absolute value of negative 1, which is 1. If I substitute 2, I'm going to get the absolute value of 0, which is 0. If I substitute 3, hopefully I'm going to be back on my way up. So we get 3 minus 2 gives me the absolute value of 1, which is 1. And then here we get y is equal to the absolute value of 4 minus 2, which is the absolute value of 2, and that is 2. So then when we come up here, we've got 0, 2. We have 1, 1, 2, 0, 3, 1, and 4, 2. And again, before we start drawing our lines, we want to make sure that we determine whether it's part of the solution or not. So because it's strictly greater than and or equal to is not an option, then that means the graph itself is not part of the solution set. And so we get that graph, and this is saying all the y values above the absolute value of x minus 2. So we're going to go above that vertex in the V, and that is where we are going to shade. And again, if you want to test it, 0, 0 is always a good one to try if it's not on the line or on the graph. So if I do that, is 0 greater than the absolute value of 0 minus 2? So 0 is greater than the absolute value of negative 2. That's the question. So is 0 greater than 2? And that would be a hard no. And so 0, 0 should not be in the shaded region, and it is not.